The moment Tasha Brooks stepped into room 207, the room stopped breathing. Eyes followed her like shadows, quiet, curious, cautious. The only black girl in an honors math class where no one looked like her, spoke like her, or came from where she came from. She kept her head high, her braids freshly tied back, her notebook hugged tight against her chest. Back row, window seat. She sat without a word. That's when the desk 3 rows up scraped backward hard, loud enough to crack the silence. Daniel. Ruiz stood, tall, smirking, fists already clenched like he'd been waiting for this moment. "You're in the wrong class," he said. The teacher, Ms. Lang, glanced up but didn't speak. No one did. Not yet. Daniel's voice cut sharper. I said, "You don't belong here." Tasha didn't respond. She never did. Not to ignorance, not to ego. She opened her notebook and kept her eyes forward, pen steady in her hand. Daniel took a step closer. "What? You think you're better than us now? Just because they let one of you in?" The tension snapped, not with words, with motion. Daniel reached for her desk. Fast. Too fast. Chairs scraped. Gasp caught in someone's throat. And just as his hand came down, something happened no one saw coming. Tasha moved. One clean, practiced pivot. His weight shifted, legs flew, and in one swift blur, Daniel Ruiz hit the floor. Flat. Stunned. The entire class froze. Ms. Lang's mouth opened, but nothing came out, and as Daniel groaned, staring up at the ceiling, the only sound in the room was Tasha calmly turning the page in her notebook. What happened after that would change the entire school. Everyone knew the unspoken rules of Eastwood High. Rule 1, don't cross Daniel Ruiz. Rule 2, if you do, keep your head down and pray he doesn't notice. Daniel had a reputation, tall, stocky, white kid with a jawline like a brick wall in anger that simmered just beneath the surface. He'd been suspended twice already. Once for punching a locker, once for shoving a freshman down the stairs. Both times, he came back angrier. And now, all eyes were on Tasha Brooks. Ms. Lang returned to the front of the room, trying to resume class like nothing had happened. But everyone could feel it. The tension rising like steam from cracked pavement. Daniel sat sideways in his chair, his gaze locked on Tasha. She sat calm, still in her window-side seat, flipping to a fresh page in her notebook. "You think you're tough," he muttered loud enough for the front row to hear. "Flipping me like some kind of show-off?" Ms. Lang turned. "Daniel, enough." He leaned back and grinned, but his eyes stayed fixed on Tasha. Minutes crawled, then it happened. A pencil snapped in half. The sound echoed too loud for something so small. Daniel stood. "You think that move makes you better than me?" he growled. Tasha didn't look up. He kicked her desk hard. It jolted forward, rattling her books. Gasps filled the room. Ms. Lang rushed over, panic cracking her voice. "Daniel!" "Sit down." But he didn't. He leaned across Tasha's desk. "They only let you in here to fill a quota," he spat. "You're nothing but a Southside charity case pretending to be smart." Tasha finally looked at him. Calm, steady, Ms. Lang stepped in, her hand on his shoulder. "Daniel, that's enough. Sit down now." He shrugged her off. Then he reached for Tasha, grabbed her by the arm, tried to yank her from her chair, and in that moment, time snapped like a rubber band. Tasha moved without hesitation. One fluid twist, a step behind him, a shift in momentum. And Daniel Ruiz's feet left the floor. He hit the ground hard, back first, the wind knocked from his lungs. Silence swallowed the room. Ms. Lang froze. Students sat rigid. Daniel lay there, stunned. Tasha stood perfectly still, breathing steady. Hands by her side. Officer Andre Bennett appeared at the door seconds later. Someone must have hit the alert button. He surveyed the scene, then walked straight to Daniel. "You all right?" Daniel groaned. Officer Bennett turned to Ms. Lang. "What happened?" She looked at him, her voice catching. He grabbed her. She defended herself. Bennett nodded once, then looked at Daniel. "Come with me." Daniel stood slowly, jaw clenched, red-faced. He didn't look at Tasha as he followed Officer Bennett out the door. The room remained frozen until Ms. Lang quietly said, "Everyone, let's take 5. Tasha sat back down, picked up her pencil. The second piece, broke it clean in half, the E. Hallway was still humming when Officer Andre Bennett led Daniel Ruiz away. His boots echoed like drum beats, but not proud ones, more like retreat. A defeated rhythm. Students leaned out of doorways, whispering, watching. Inside the classroom, no one spoke. Ms. Lang finally broke the silence. "Everyone, take out your books." But nobody was thinking about math anymore. Tasha sat motionless, eyes on her notebook, the broken pencil still lying in 2 pieces beside her. 30 minutes later, the intercom crackled. Tasha Brooks. "Please report to the principal's office." She rose slowly. Didn't rush, didn't pause, just walked. One step after another, down a hallway buzzing with whispers and stares. Principal Malik Thompson was waiting. He stood when she walked. In, tall, black, suit crisp, voice warm but firm. His office smelled like cedar and old books. "Have a seat, Ms. Brooks," he said gently. She sat, back straight, chin up. "I've already reviewed the footage," he said, gesturing to the monitor on his desk. "I saw what happened." Tasha stayed quiet. "I also spoke with Ms. Lang," he continued. "You didn't escalate. You protected yourself. That matters." She finally looked at him. "Will I be suspended?" He shook his head. "Not even close." Then he tilted his head. "Where'd you learn to move like that?" She gave a soft, half smile, the first hint of emotion. "My uncle. He used to be a boxer. Golden gloves, Southside legend." Principal Thompson chuckled. "Remind me never to get on your bad side." But the smile didn't last, because trouble wasn't done. It was only warming up. The next morning, everything changed. Students huddled around phones, whispered in tight circles. The hallways were louder, but not with voices, with buzz. By second period, Tasha saw it. The video. The angle was tight. The audio cut. It didn't show Daniel shouting, didn't show him grabbing her arm. It only showed her flipping him. Then a quick freeze frame. Caption: "Aggressive student attacks classmate, and school does nothing." Thousands of views. Already, hundreds of shares, comments boiling over. "Tasha Brooks is violent. Should have expelled her. She's dangerous." She snapped. By lunch, the whole school had seen it. Some looked confused, some looked convinced. No one said anything to her directly. But the silence was louder now, heavier. Even friends she used to sit near kept their distance. And that's when he appeared. Jack, Callahan. New student, red hoodie, calm stare, cold smirk. He didn't storm into rooms like Daniel. He didn't yell, didn't kick desks. Jack watched, quiet, calculating. He followed her with his eyes. Showed up where she was, library, cafeteria, even her bus stop. Someone said he was Daniel's cousin. Others said he was the one who edited the video. No proof, just whispers. But whispers spread like wildfire in a school like this. By day 3, new posts popped up. Screenshots, GIFs. A slow-mo clip of her flipping Daniel, now with dramatic music and captions like "crazy much" and "thug behavior in school." The image was being rewritten. Tasha Brooks, once invisible, was now infamous. She walked the halls differently now, not with fear, but with caution. Shoulders still square, eyes still forward. But inside, something was shifting. Her confidence didn't break, but it cracked. Because it wasn't just Daniel anymore, or Belle, or even Jack. It was the crowd, the whispers, the stares, the way people wanted to believe the worst. Every step felt heavier. Every glance felt loaded. In history class, 3 seats near her were suddenly empty. In biology, a note had been scribbled into her textbook. "Go back where you came from." She didn't react. Not once. She didn't cry. Didn't storm out. She just sat there, breathing, writing, holding the line. But inside, she felt it. The chill of isolation, not fear, but exhaustion. When she walked home that afternoon, the sky looked different. Not darker, just colder. But she walked the same pace, step by step, back straight, head high. Because Tasha Brooks knew something most people didn't. Sometimes the storm doesn't come from outside. Sometimes it's the silence after, and surviving that takes a whole different kind of strength. By Thursday morning, the whispers had turned into weight. Even silence had teeth. Tasha Brooks had spent 3 days walking through that school like a ghost in her own skin. Not invisible, just watched. But ghosts don't stay quiet forever, so when the last bell rang that day, she didn't go to lunch. She walked straight into the front office. The receptionist looked up. "I need to see Principal Thompson," Tasha said, voice steady. "He's in a meeting. I'll wait." 10 minutes passed, then 15. Finally, the door opened and Principal Malik Thompson stepped out. He paused when he saw her. "You again?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. Tasha nodded. "This time, make sure the cameras are on." Something in his face changed. Respect, maybe. Or concern. He nodded once. "Come in." Inside his office, she didn't sit. "There's a video going around," she said. "Edited. Twisted. People think I started it." "I've seen it," Thompson replied. Tasha stared him down. "But I know there's footage from the hallway, from the classroom. Real footage. Not that mess online." Principal Thompson leaned back, thought for a moment, then turned to his computer. "Let's pull it up." By the next morning, posters were up on every wall. Mandatory student assembly, 3rd period, auditorium. The auditorium filled quickly. Students, teachers, counselors, security. Even a few parents who'd heard the rumors. The lights dimmed. The projector screen lit up. Principal Thompson walked to the mic, tie straight, jaw firm. "There's been a lot of talk about what happened in Ms. Lang's class," he began. "Some of it true, most of it not." The room fell still. "So today we're going to look at the truth. Unfiltered, unedited, entire." Click. The video began. Silence in the room. Thick, electric. They saw it. Frame by frame. Daniel Ruiz yelling, slamming his foot, calling Tasha names, then grabbing her. Then, in one smooth, defensive motion, her flipping him to the ground. Gasps echoed across the rows. Then the hallway footage played. Jack Callahan standing outside the room, phone out, recording. Then, hours later, logging into a school computer under a borrowed password. Another screen showed his uploads, the edits, the captions, the comments he liked. It was all there, truth in motion. Lie unraveled. Principal Thompson stepped forward again. "This is not just about one student," he said slowly. "This is about all of us." He paused. "Let that sink in. About what kind of school we are. About what kind of people we choose to be, when no one's watching, and when everyone is." Then he turned to the students. "To those who spread rumors, you owe her an apology. To those who stayed silent, you owe her your attention. And to Ms. Brooks," he turned to Tasha, sitting in the front row, "you do not owe anyone anything. You carried yourself with dignity when this place didn't deserve it." He closed the laptop. The screen went black. The silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was respectful. And then, slowly, at first, came the applause. One student, then another. A ripple, then a roar. clapping, loud, whole, real. Not because Tasha fought back, but because the truth finally spoke louder than the noise. After the assembly, students passed her in the hallway with nods, no longer stares. Her seat in math class, the one in the back corner, was still empty when she walked in. But this time, 3 people saved seats nearby. Nobody whispered. Nobody looked away. Even Ms. Lang smiled at her as she walked by. And Jack? He was not in class. Principal Thompson had confirmed he'd been suspended for tampering with school records, harassment, and slander. But it was not about revenge, not for Tasha. It was about being seen, being heard, being believed. Justice does not always come with fireworks. Sometimes it comes in a quiet room, with the truth playing on a screen. And when that room claps for you, not because you fought but because you stood, it's louder than any battle cry. The assembly was over. The truth was out. But some people don't go quietly. Later that afternoon, the hallways felt different. Lighter, maybe, but not for everyone. Tasha closed her locker, books in hand, when she heard heavy footsteps behind her. Must feel good, huh? The voice was familiar, cold and smug. Jack Callahan. She turned slowly. He was standing inches away. Same black hoodie, same calculating stare. But something in his eyes had cracked. Not anger, humiliation. "You think embarrassing my cousin makes you safe now," he said, his jaw tight. "You think that little video makes you some kind of hero?" Tasha did not flinch. "I did not embarrass your cousin," she replied calmly. "He did that all by himself." Jack's lip curled. "You're just a Southside scholarship kid. Don't act like you belong here." She stepped forward just slightly, enough to make the moment hers. "I do belong here. The difference is, I don't need to lie to prove it." The hallway had students now, some pausing by the lockers, pretending not to listen. But they were listening. Jack's face turned red. His fists clenched. "You think this is over?" he hissed. He raised his arm, not fully, but enough. A threat, a spark, and then a hand grabbed his wrist. Firm, unshakable. Officer Andre Bennett, security badge. Calm eyes. His presence stopped. "Everything." "That's enough," Officer Bennett said. "Hands down. Now." Jack yanked his arm back. "She started." "No," Bennett interrupted. "She did not." He pointed to the hallway camera. "You've been followed, Jack. Every move, every word. It's all on record." Jack's face paled. Manipulating school systems, posting doctored footage, harassment, all confirmed. Officer Bennett radioed. "Principal Thompson, we have a situation." Within minutes, the hallway was clear. Jack was gone, and the silence left behind wasn't empty. It was justice. That evening, a letter was emailed to all students and parents. "Jack Callahan has been suspended pending investigation. We do not tolerate harassment, bullying, or manipulation of any kind." It was not just about punishment. It was a shift, a turning. And Tasha felt it the next morning. She walked into class, expecting stares. But instead, she got something else. A girl from her chemistry group quietly moved her backpack off the seat beside her. "You can sit here if you want," she mumbled, without looking up. In the cafeteria, someone slid her an extra water bottle. No words, just a nod. At her locker, a post-it note stuck to the door. "Thanks for not backing down. J. No last name, just an initial." It was not loud. It was not dramatic, but it was real. These were not claps or cheers anymore. These were small signs of respect, the kind you earn, not demand. Tasha did not need a spotlight. She needed space. And slowly, the school was giving it. Not because she fought, but because she refused to be silent. Friday morning came quiet. Not the kind of quiet that feels heavy or tense. This one was different, like the sky had exhaled. Tasha walked through the school doors like she had every other day. Same stride, same bag over her shoulder. But something had changed. Not in her, but around her. As she reached her locker, she noticed something folded, and tucked just beneath the handle, a piece of lined paper, no glitter, no big words, just one sentence, handwritten in blue ink. "Thank you for standing up for all of us." Signed, half the class. She stared at it for a long moment. No sarcasm. No cruelty, no threat. Just honesty. Her hand trembled as she held it. Not from fear, from relief. For the first time in what felt like forever, her lips curved into a small, quiet smile. Not because she had won anything, not because someone had been punished, but because she had been seen. She walked down the hallway. There were no whistles, no whispers, no eyes tracking her every move, just normal. And somehow, that felt revolutionary. She stepped into math class, same classroom, same light hum of the overheads, same scratch of pencils on paper. And then something happened. A student by the window, the same seat she usually took, noticed her. He moved his backpack without saying a word. Just slid it gently off the seat and gave her a quiet nod. Tasha nodded back and sat down. No tension, no awkward glances, just acceptance. From across the room, Miss Rebecca Lang caught her eye. She smiled. Not the kind that forced encouragement, but the kind that said, "You are exactly where you are meant to be." The bell rang. Class began, and for once the air did not feel like it was watching her. Outside the window, the day was grey, but inside, there was something calm. Something still. She did not need to raise her voice. She did not need to prove her worth. She had already done it, by standing still when everything tried to move her, by staying quiet when others twisted the truth, by refusing to fall, even when she was pushed. That afternoon, the halls filled like always. The noise returned. The lockers slammed, but something was different. As she walked out, a group of students moved aside just enough to make space, not out of fear, not out of obligation, out of respect. No one said a word, and that was the beauty of it, because sometimes the loudest recognition does not come in the form of cheers or applause. Sometimes it comes in silence. When silence is filled with respect, it echoes louder than any shout. And sometimes, standing your ground quietly is the bravest thing of all.